All right, so you're in an English meeting and you know what you want to say. You just don't know how to start it or transition it from someone else's point to yours. What you're missing is connecting words. And in today's video, we're going to take a look at 5 different connecting phrases. By the end, you'll be able to speak more naturally in English meetings, and make sure to stay till the end for the quiz. Hello there, my name is Profe Charlie. I am an English communications coach for Spanish-speaking professionals, and if you're able to understand me to this point, you're exactly who I work with, so feel free to hit that subscribe button and you can contact me using the details in the description. Anyway, let's go to the 5 connecting phrases. So the first phrase is to build off of what a person said. And this is basically just adding to the person's point. But it's quite a nice way to do it because it makes you sound like you are working together, right? You are building from one thing to another. You're constructing ideas together. So this is similar in Spanish to para agregar a lo que dijo and then the person. An example is, I'd like to build off of what Juan mentioned about the marketing strategy and add some details. Now, in this case, it seems like you are working together with Juan to reach a certain point. So this is a fantastic connecting word for collaborative activities. All right, the next one is to circle back to, and this is basically just to go back to a topic that you already talked about or that you want to mention again. And here in Spanish, it's similar to volvamos a tal tema, okay? So an example would be, let's circle back to the sales report we talked about at the beginning of the meeting. Now, this is saying, hey, there was a sales report that we talked about. I want to talk more about it. Let's circle back to it. And it's much more common and polite than saying, let's return to this point, okay? So number 3 is the phrase, so overall. And this is used to bring meetings or topics to an end. And it's similar in Spanish to sobre todo o en general. So let's say we are talking about results, positives, negatives, etc. And we want to bring the meeting to the end. We can say, so overall results were positive, and then add some notes afterwards. What this does is it allows us to bring something to an end, summarize it in a couple of short words. Now the next one is, I also wanted to mention. And this is kind of similar to circle back to, but here we might be adding a topic, maybe adding something that wasn't talked about at the beginning of the meeting. And so in Spanish, this is similar to también quería mencionar. And again, we can use it when we want to add something to the discussion. An example might be, I also wanted to mention that we are planning a meeting with the development team next week. So you're adding in a note to what you're already talking about. And the last one is quite similar, and we say to add to that, okay? Para agregar a eso o a ese punto. And basically, we're just adding information, we're bringing up new information, and this is helpful when we want to say something that hasn't been said in the meeting yet. An example might be, to add to that, I think we should consider our customers' input on that matter. Now, let's take a quiz. So the first question is, great stuff today, guys. Blank, we've made significant progress. So, overall. Next we have, I completely agree with Sarah's suggestion. Blank, we could take it a step further and implement it next week. To build off of what someone said. And the last question is, before we move on, let's blank what John mentioned earlier about the budget. Before we move on, let's circle back to what John mentioned earlier about the budget. All right, guys, nice job. How'd you do on the quiz? Feel free to leave your score or any questions you have in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.